comes to the police and military, they sometimes have to come up with ideas on how to stop vehicles that get out of control that are trying to flee them. There are many options on how to stop such vehicles, but I think you'll be surprised by how many options they honestly have. We're going to show you several of them today, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Number 10, the Mythbuster Items.
Oh, you are good. Now just start pushing on that brake
and bring it all to a stop.
Okay, this one is more of an honorable mention, but it's one worth noting for sure. During an episode of Mythbusters, build team members Tori, Grant, and Carrie had to test various notions of how to stop a runaway car, ones that were indeed in use by the police today. However, they later turned onto their creative genius minds and came up with two ideas of their own to stop vehicles. Tori came up with a spear and catch device that would have a spear be attached to the hood of the car. It would pierce the trunk, and then by hitting the brakes, it would stop the car, and it was pretty effective. As for Grant, he had the idea of taking two cars, putting them with extensions on their fronts that were like paddles, and the two coming together next to the car to stop it. That too was also effective. While the police and military aren't technically using these items, they are valid, and it shows that there are many ways to think about when it comes to stopping a car. Number 9. Grappler Police Bumper. Thanks to things like television and movies, the car chase is a glamorized part of police work, but make no mistake, these are a real threat, and they can cause a lot of problems for police officers. Not the least of which is that in pedestrian areas there are very few ways for the police to immediately stop the criminal without doing serious property damage or hurting civilians. Enter the Grappler Police Bumper. This device can be stored quite easily on the front side of the vehicle car chasing the fleeing suspect. With a button push it is deployed, and once it's unwound, all the officer has to do is get close enough to go and wrap a series of threads around the back wheel. They'll wrap around the wheel in a loop, and then the police car can slam on their brakes in order to slow down and eventually stop the vehicle. With the back tires basically immobile, the car will be forced to stop in seconds, and thus ending the chase before anyone else can be hurt or put in harm's way. Number 8. Mobile Spike. A net of threads is an effective way to stop a chase, but another popular method used by many police forces are spike strips of various kinds, and Mobile Spike is one of those options. The device is attached to the front of the police car, and then the car will get next to the suspects and with a push of a button, deploys. The spikes take chunks out of the tire, ensuring it deflates in under a minute while avoiding a blowout, which is always a risk when you talk about damaging tires. You've likely seen variations of this device on TV or in the movies, and for good reason. Not only does it work, it's actually a very visual device that actually works well in the police's favor, which is what they need to save lives during chases. Number 7. Retractable Spike Strips. While the Mobile Spike is a great option to take out a car, it only works if the officer is able to drive up to the vehicle and deploy it. But sometimes that's not an option, and thus police need a spike strip that will allow them to deploy it quickly, effectively, and not affect other cars. Thus, they made the retractable spike strips, which they are exactly what they sound like, but with a little bit of a twist. The spike strip itself is stored in a box and are activated by remote control. What will happen is the officer will place it by the side of the road and get out of sight. Then when the runaway vehicle approaches, they'll press a button, launch the spikes, and nail the car before they can react. But that's not all. When the spikes hit the car, they instantly fly backwards back towards the box. That way the incoming police vehicle won't have to worry about hitting them, so what you have here is an all-in-one device that can be radioed in via the officer chasing the car. They can lure him to a spot where another officer is waiting, and then have them in a trap before they can even think of getting out of it. Number 6. Gunabo Elcosta Wedge Barrier. While a little more violent, the Gunabo Elcosta Wedge Barrier is the perfect way of stopping a vehicle that likely won't be able to be stopped by one or more tires getting spiked. such as a semi-trailer truck or various other large vehicles. It's also perfect for stopping vehicles of any size to ensure that their intent is not carried out. The reason that this wedge barrier is so strong is not just because of its material construction, but in how it's raised and put at an angle. A perpendicular barrier can be bowled over or gone over with the right amount of force or weight, but with a wedge, it's not that simple to get over, as it's piercing your vehicle instead of just ramming into it. Thus, it stops the vehicle in its tracks and does maximum damage to ensure that no one is getting past it. Now, I'm sure this might not seem like the right solution given the damage being done, but when a runaway vehicle or a stolen vehicle is getting away, sometimes it's better just to get it off the field full stop than hope you can stop it down the way. Number 5. XNET. The XNET is another device that uses a net instead of spikes in order to stop a car. But this time, like the retractable spikes, it's the one that is deployed ahead of the oncoming runaway car. It's also one that can wrap up the entire wheel frame and not just one tire, though it usually just traps 2 tires for the record. With that much friction being caused as the net is constricting the tires, it's impossible to keep going forward, thus helping get the chase done really quick without much blowback. Plus, because of the wide base of the net, it's almost impossible to avoid, and thus the police will know that they got their man, which is obviously something they want to know before deploying. Number 4. Heeled HT1 Raptor. The heeled HT1 Raptor is a retractable kind of road spike that is able to be inserted into the ground and then be raised or lowered depending on when it's used or not. And like the one we showed you earlier with another spike device, the Raptor's unique shape allows it to take on cars, trucks, and even speeding semis and not budge, all without harming the Raptor itself. Because of its low standing and curved shape, it'll hit the vehicles near their wheel frames and thus completely immobilize the vehicle. Number 3. Pro Spike. On the surface, the Pro Spike seems like a simple kind of retractable spike, but this one is specifically designed to deflate car tires as quickly as possible. The Pro Spike is used for various borders and police checkpoints, and it can be deployed at the simple press of a button. What's more, it can be controlled to have a wide range or a narrow one, all depending on the situation at hand. Once the car drives over the spikes will puncture the car and quickly deflate it without causing massive damage to the tire itself. It's stated that once punctured, the cars only last about another 200 meters, which allows the police plenty of time to catch up to them before the driver can escape. Number 2. Arrest Net. Arrest Net, as it is known, is a quick and easy way to stop vehicles of any size. It can be deployed by hand or via a foot-activated button, which is effective given that chases can be unpredictable. When a vehicle of any size goes over it, the front 2 wheels will get wrapped up in a net, while the back 2 tires will hit with spikes that'll deflate the tires. What you get as a result is a literal 1-2 punch of stopping power that'll ensure that the vehicle is disabled, and you even have a backup in case one of the 2 options fails. Either way, the vehicle in question isn't going anywhere. Number 1. Safe Stop.
The convoy can proceed without any more delays, while the vehicle behind can be intercepted by further security forces.
While many of these items that we've shown you are indeed effective at stopping cars, many times there are risks involved, such as tire damage hurting others or the car not stopping immediately and thus putting others in danger. Surely there must be a way to take the car out safely without risk of any damage, right? Well, the Safe Stop is the way to do that. It's a device that uses RF waves to basically hack into a car's engine and force it to turn off. When it does, the car, bike, even a boat will slow down so that the police can get to them before they realize what's really going on. I'm sure to some of you this may seem like a piece of sci-fi technology, but it's real. Granted, there are some drawbacks as it's not a small device and it has to be put on top of a vehicle, but used in places like traffic stops and border control areas, it'll end a car chase before it even begins. So what do you think? What did you think of these items used by the police and the military in order to stop vehicles? Are you surprised by the definitive nature of the stopping power of these items? Which of them do you think is the best of the bunch? Do you know another item that can stop cars effectively and safely? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.